Hello and welcome. Today I'll be discussing on Matplotlib. Matplotlib is a powerful Python solution for visualizing data. Whenever we want to make statistical inferences, it's necessary to visualize our data. Matplotlib is one of such solutions for Python users. It's very useful for plotting for people working with Python and numeric Python. Numeric Python is another popular Python library for multi-dimensional array objects. The most used module of Matplotlib is probably Pyplot, which provides an interface that looks like MATLAB. But the beauty of Matplotlib is that it's open source, it's free, so you don't have to pay. I'll be using a Python IDE called Spider, which can be installed once you have Anaconda. Alternatively, if you don't want to use Spider to work with Matplotlib, you can also use the Jupyter notebook, but I will be using the Spider IDE. So I'll be closing this console so that a new console comes to the screen. I've typed here import matplotlib.pyplot. That's import the module pyplot from the library Matplotlib. Then give it the alias plt. So you'll be calling pyplot plt. That's what you are trying to tell the system. plt.plot. Plot is a command or a method within pyplot, which is now called plt for the sake of this demonstration. So I'm going to run this. So Matplotlib has plotted based on these two lines of code. By default, if you instruct Matplotlib to plot a graph, but give only one set of values, in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, it assumes that these values, singular values that you've given it, is for the y-axis. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. So it's plotted 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, or along the y-axis, and then just giving other values of its own for the x-axis. Now what will happen now if I were to add another set of values, let's say 2, 4, 6, 8, and I'm now going to replot it. Now this is what has happened now. Because I've given it two sets of values now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. This first set of values, it's now going to treat it as x-axis, which is what is here, 1 to 4. Then 2, 4, 6, 8 will now be treated as the y-axis. That is part of what we should take note about Pyplot. I could have used the dot show method, but I omitted it because without the plot dot show, it can still display, but with it will still display whatever graph you want it to display. Now we've done this now. I'm going to cancel this console again. What we did earlier on, plotting by default y values against imaginary x values, then plotting x and y values. These two earlier graphs did not have labels. So let's now look at how we can add labels. Let me remove this plt.show, it's not mandatory. To put a label, remember this kind of graphs, histogram and the rest, have basically x and y axis, unlike pie charts. So what we do is plt dot x label. In this case, we are trying to tell or indicate what the name of the x-axis is or should be. So let's assume, like say number, let me use capital, number of attendees. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is on the x-axis, I want the main number of attendees. Plt dot for the y-axis now, label number of events. Okay, so let's run it now. So for x-axis, number of attendees, this is x-axis beneath number of attendees. For the y-axis, number of events, this is y-axis, number of events. So this is just basically how you can create a graph. So the next thing that we want to ask ourselves is, how do we plot what I will call graphical variables? Graphical variables. So I'm closing this console and then also closing this so that we have a fresh set of. Okay, so graphical variables. Graphical variables simply means you want to plot more than one graph and then probably group them. Maybe you have a scenario where there are multiple groups, and then even within the multiple groups there are x and y axes or labels that you need to attach to each of the groups. So let's say names, and then you say group. Let me use capital letter. Group A. That's the name of a group. Group B. Name of another group. Group C. Okay. Of course, because you are using like a compound word, you need to separate each of the words. That's what I've done. Group underscore C, group underscore B. So the names is what will come out as the name of the group itself. In this case, okay, let me change. This is group as English group. Next one, we ask ourselves what values do we want to place. So the first group, let's say value 1, second group 10, third group 100. What do we want PLT to do? Now we need to determine the size of the graph. PLT.figure, what kind of figure are we talking of? Figure size of the graph. And what is the figure size? You can use, of course, a graph in this type of graphs with x and y. This is like length and breadth, or x and y axis. So I'm going to just pick okay. So we determine the size of the figure. That's the parent body that will take in the subplots. Next, we want to do is we want to plot other plots within the main frame itself. So we are going to introduce plot dot subplot. Now I'm writing now 131. Subplot T. What have I done by writing this 131? What I've just done is this. This first 1 and 3 is saying 1 times 3 grid. Your grid, 1 times 3 grid. Whereas this last one is saying this is the first subplot within the main plot. So the next thing is what kind of graph? Bar is the type of graph I want to. Names. So what are the parameters that we take? Names and values. What I'm trying to say is this. Under this bar graph, which will be the first subplot in this main plot, use names, which is what I've defined here, and values, which I've also defined here. So the next thing is the second subplot. Subplot 132. So 132 is saying 1 times 3 grid, but the second subplot within this group of subplots. Let's say I want to use scatter graph here. Of course, it should be picking names and values. Then the next one will be plot dot subplot, plot dot banding, plot dot subplot again. One, three, three, which is saying 1 times 3 date grid, and then the third subplot plt dot. In this case, I'm not specific on the type, names, values. Then we want to now give it a title. This first time I'm introducing this in this lecture, subtitle. It would say categorized plots. Let's see how this. All right. Okay. So let's run it first before I go on to explain again. Okay. There's an error. Group underscore A, group underscore. Names. Okay, I didn't put here. That's it. So let's run it again. All right, so it's done it now. Group A, Group B, Group C. Group A, Group B, Group C. Group A, Group B, Group C. The third one, I didn't indicate the type of plot. That's why it's like this. So the values, of course, 1, 10, 100, 1, 10, 100, 1, 10, 100. The first one, I said it should be a bar chart. That's why it's like this. The second one, I said it should be a scatter graph. That's why it's like this. And then the third one, of course, I didn't really say what kind of graph it should be. So that's an example of how you categorize or you plot categorized variables, categorized graphs rather. Okay. Now I want to just briefly introduce another property or another element. In fact, two is what I'm going to introduce. First, I'm going to try to use numeric Python. So let's close this so that if new one comes on, numeric Python. Okay, so I've done import Matplotlib library.pyplot, but now let me just use another way you can introduce Matplotlib. Let's say from, which is also another way, Matplot Library dot import pyplot as plt. This is another way, as plt. You can introduce it. I want to use numeric Python from Matplotlib import pyplot as plt. So I also want to now introduce numeric Python as np. Then I want to also import math. So x and y axis. I'll try to be fast now. Numeric Python, you want it to arrange then math dot pi where is my multiplication sign times 2 let's say 0.05. okay, so we want the y-axis to be the sign SINE np dot sign of x, and of course we want our plt to plot x and y. So let's see how it will run before I explain briefly. Okay, so what has it done for us now? We imported Matplotlib, then we imported numeric Python as np, imported maths, the maths module, then numeric Python told you to arrange. You can read that up. 0, then pi in mathematics, value of pi times 2, then 0.05. So this is the value for the x-axis. Then whatever is in this value x-axis, for the y-axis, we want numeric Python to get the sign of that value. There's sine, there's cosine, there's tangent, but the sign is what we want here. And then at the end, we want Matplotlib to plot it, which is what it has done. So if we go on to use the labeling, then it will surely give us names for both y here and x-axis. There's something else I would like to talk about, and that is how you like put colors. For example, this is blue by default. Let's say you want to put colors. So how do we go about it? Colors for the chart itself. So let's go back to our original chart. Let's say plt dot, the first set of charts we did. 1, say 2, 3, 4. Remember I mentioned if we leave it like this, it's going to assume this is y-axis, but once we put in new set of values, then it's going to assume x and y-axis. 7, just put, okay. All right, so now if we run this now, you can see it's still blue. So I'm now going to introduce another element at the end here. Let's assume, let's do this. We want red. We want the color to be red. So letter R and then O, not 0. O, not 0. And then we close it. So let's run it. You can see now what we've done is this. We told Matplotlib change the graph such that while plotting the graph, red is the color, then 0 O, letter O rather, will be what we use to indicate the values. That's what is done. You also can use some other colors like G to represent green. This is green now. Yellow. Y to represent yellow. Okay, so let's now try something. I want an error to happen. This value is 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to add another value here. Four, 7, 9, 10. Let's see what will happen. Let's see whether the plot will go on. It tells us invalid syntax. Why exactly? It's simply because the dimensions are, the values are not of the same dimensions. This is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So okay. Let me put this. Turn this. I want that error to come out. Dimension error. So let me run it back. Okay. Value error. X and Y must have same first dimension, but have shapes 4 and 5. So it's saying now what I've done is now can be likened to confusing Matplotlib. This has not followed the correct syntax. X is having 4, Y is having 5. That's why beneath here there is nothing. So this is just a summary of what you can do using Pyplot. There are quite a lot of other elements, properties, methods within the Pyplot and within Matplotlib, which you can read up on your own. But sincerely, Matplotlib is a very, very good Python library which statisticians and anybody involved in data gathering can actually use to visualize your data. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to another lecture. Bye.